And for the record, my name is Michael McHenry. I am the hearing officer today. I will conduct the hearing, and at the end, I will either approve the various petitions or I will deny them. If I were to approve the petition, that does not mean that it is granted. It is simply a recommendation to the county board. The county board would then have to vote on the petition at the next scheduled meeting, and if a majority of the county board members in attendance were to approve it, it would then be finalized at that point. If I were to deny a petition or not recommend it, then 3/4 of the majority of the county board members in attendance would have to approve it for its approval. You will be treated with respect today, and I ask that you do the same. I ask that if there are people here who are involved or are against a petition, that you speak clearly, do not talk over one another. I would ask everyone to keep their voice up. We are making a record of this hearing. And for 2576, who is the petitioner today?
Tarsan Singh.
And everyone who is going to make any kind of a statement or testify in reference to either of the two petitions, I'd ask that they be sworn and stand and be sworn, please. Is anyone going to make a comment of any kind?
They're on the second.
Okay, but you are a petitioner.
Yes.
So on either petition, anyone who is going to make any statement, I'd ask that they stand and be sworn, please. Y'all, yes, stand. You all promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Singh, what are you hoping to do today?
We want the variant for installing the canopy over existing gas station in Alden.
And how long have you owned that gas station?
We bought this property in March of this year.
And what are you hoping to do to it?
We are going to do the complete renovation on the petroleum section of it, which includes removal of the older tanks, installing new tanks, installing 3 new dispensers, and a canopy over it.
And how big is the piece of property that you have?
Do you have the size of it?
In the application. The actual acres, it's less than a half acre.
Yeah, it's, I think, at the top of my head, what I know, it's a 0.3 acres. Close to 0.3, it could be a little bit more or less.
Okay, and besides the tanks and the request to put up the canopies, what other work are you doing to it or planning on doing?
Just that.
For the record, this is petition Z2576. The applicant is Tarsan Singh. The request is a variation within the B1B Neighborhood Business District to allow for a setback of 5 feet from the required 50 feet from the south lot line and a maximum building coverage of 44.3 feet instead of 35% maximum allowed, and third, to allow the existing maximum impervious surface coverage for the lot of 88% instead of the 50% maximum allowed. The subject property consists of 0.27 acres and is located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Illinois Route 173 and Alden Road in Alden Township. Common address is 16420 Illinois Route 173, Harvard, Illinois. The tax ID or PIN is 0215452011. The property is designated commercial on the current land use map, and the north would be single-family residential, south commercial, east single-family residential, and the west would be single-family residential, commercial. The current zoning is B1V Neighborhood Business District with a variation, and the north would be R1V Single-Family Residential /LN, south would be B1V Neighborhood Business, the east would be B1 Neighborhood Business, as would be the west. The 2030 plan designates this as a state on the current land use plan. The property is improved with a one-story block building, 2 fuel pumps, and asphalt parking, according to the plat of survey. There are no wetlands, there's no floodplain, no flood of record. And the applicant's proposing a canopy structure to be located over the existing fuel pumps on the subject property. And there is a building permit currently pending. So, Mr. Singh, how many pumps do you currently have?
There are 2.
And will you change the number of pumps?
Yes, we want to get 3 so that it is a good size gas station
Okay,
for that.
third, will the footprint of the 3 pumps be the same as the current footprint, or will you expand the footprint to accommodate that third pump?
You can answer that.
The footprint will expand from east to west approximately 15 feet from what's there now. The island will expand to the, actually,
Okay, so when it says the applicant proposes a canopy structure to be located over the existing fuel pumps, that's not a completely correct statement.
That was sorry, that was my misunderstanding. I was only aware of the canopy structure being a part of the application at the time until just now that they're replacing.
Okay.
The site plan does show the 3 proposed location of the 3 fuel pumps.
But the canopy would be greater with the addition of the third pump rather than if it was just the 2 pumps, is that correct?
Greater than the area of where the 2 pumps previously were, correct.
I mean, to staff, this is a fairly substantial amount of coverage that they are seeking. Has stormwater or anyone else looked at this?
So there is already impervious surface coverage in the area where the canopy is proposed. I'm not a stormwater engineer, but my understanding is that there's no additional impact to stormwater runoff because it is already impervious, and they're just adding on to that area.
Bear with me for a moment. Then why are they seeking the third request to allow the existing maximum impervious surface coverage of the lot of 88% instead of the 50% maximum, right?
Yes, that's because the existing impervious surface already is at 88%. So it's just a way to clean up the maps and make sure that that is accounted for.
Do you know when this gas station came into existence?
I do not. I was not able to find records of exactly when it was built.
Mr. Singh, did you ever come across the,
Yes, sir. I know that when I searched that how old those tanks are, they were installed in 1988, I believe. So at
when did this
least,
first become a gas station? If you know?
yeah, at least since then it's the gas station. Before that, I don't know.
The fact that you have no records of that, what would that mean?
It would likely indicate that the structure was existing prior to our building permit requirements sometime in the 40s or earlier, possibly.
So it's possible that this lot and the building were constructed before the current zoning rules went into effect?
Possibly.
Okay. And Mr. Singh, the area that is north of your property is a very important environmentally sensitive area. How have you taken that into consideration, what you're hoping to do?
The north from our store, which is the house, that's what you're talking about, sir?
No, keep on going past the house. You've got what is it, the Hackamattack? Isn't that part of the,
Where are you talking about?
what about the bridge, when you come across that bridge, the property that's north of the bridge? Keep going north on Alden Road.
I don't have that far on the map.
Okay. Do you know where the water runoff will go from your property if this request is granted?
The way I see it there, the road is significantly lower level than this area, so the water runs to the road, and from there,
You're on two roads. Which road are you talking about?
the Alden Road running north.
The person who was with you, can you identify yourself, please?
Dan McMahon, Interstate Pump and Tank.
And what is your role in this, Dan?
Contractor, I build gas stations, do tank work.
Are you also going to do the canopy work?
We subcontract the canopy work. I would dig the canopy footers.
Who will do the canopy work? If you know.
The canopy manufacturer we use is King Manufacturing out of Waupun, Wisconsin,
Do you
or
have-
Steel King.
Do you have any sketches of what that canopy is going to look like?
Not a good sketch, no. I've got an aerial but it's what you see on the site plan.
The canopy, is it going to be flat? Is it going to be sloped or slanted?
It'll be flat.
And then how does the water run off of the flat canopy?
There are perimeter gutters that come to the two columns and run down the two columns, which are centered between the first and second and third island inline.
Okay, and what direction would those drain pipes?
That would have to be determined. Typically, they should go towards the road to the south.
Okay, and that would be 173?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Singh seemed to think it would go to Alden Road. Why the discrepancy?
I believe most of the water from that lot, it eventually will run to the Alden Road because that is the lower portion of that area than this lot and 173.
Do you have anything that shows the elevation of your lot? Do you have any?
Just the
No.
topography that I've got shown here. Doesn't show that far. The pictures will show.
Yeah, here we see the 173 and our lot, they are about the same level. But the Alden Road, when it runs from this intersection north, it is way down. And
Yeah.
currently, I do see the water goes that way.
When you say that way, can you be specific, please?
Yeah, the water runs from the lot to the Alden Road, north side from the lot.
You're a corner lot, so what are your neighboring lots? What are they like?
Just two roads, the 173 and Alden Road.
Okay, but when you go north of your property, what kind of-
There are some houses I see around the road, nothing else.
And if you go east of your property, what is there?
East, yeah, there are again some houses around the road and farmland.
Have you observed any problems with water runoff from your gas station during the time that you've owned it, where the water then goes on to one of your neighbor's houses, either to the
No.
north or to the east?
No, it doesn't.
And you own a number of gas stations, is that correct?
Another one in Harvard.
And you've been in this business for how long?
Working with this business all my life, and that station we run in Harvard, it is 11 years now.
And what is the reason or the purpose for having the structure over the gas pumps?
Because there is a mandate by 2028, the old pumps and underground piping, everything, that need to be upgraded anyway. So, and that's what the reason is, that we decided when we upgrade it, we make it, better to
Okay, but the mandate pertains to the pumps.
not only the pumps, the underground tanks.
Tanks.
And
Does that also require that there be some kind of a structure over the pumps?
No, it don't require, but that is needed for the convenience of the customers so that they can fuel in the rainy season and in the snow.
Have you talked to any of your neighbors about what you're hoping to do? And if so, who did you talk to and what did they tell you?
Yeah, the real neighbor peoples around the station, they all are happy with this upgrading. They tell us that they are very happy, that they will get a gas station under the canopy so that they can.
And in addition to selling fuel, you also have either food items.
Yes, sir, it is a convenience store.
And can you explain that, please?
Yeah, it has snack items, dairy products, and beers, liquor, sodas.
Are there any other convenience stores in the town of Alden?
No, there is not.
Kim, if this request is granted by the county board, what other county agencies, if any, will take a look at this?
So within the Planning and Development Department, the Water Resources Department or Division will take a look and make sure that that the request complies with the stormwater management ordinance. And then also the local fire district would also be involved to make sure that all of the fire codes are being met as well.
And in your experience, what percentage of gas stations have structure protecting the pumps?
This is honestly probably the first one that I've come across locally that has not had a cover.
And does staff have anything to add to this at this point?
I don't believe so. When I was out at the site, I wanted to make sure that this is not something that would cause any kind of sightline issues. Obviously, with the canopy being higher and open, if it was an enclosed structure, that would be something that would be more of a concern. It is in line with the building on the west side of the building, so it's not going any closer to the intersection than the existing structure. So I did not have any concerns.
And what would be the height of the structure?
The height, I don't know. I have not seen the plan, I don't believe.
Clear height is typically 14.6 to the decking, and depending upon the fascia height, could be as much as 20 feet, depending on the branding.
20 is the maximum height allowed for an accessory structure in the business district.
Is there anyone here that wishes to address this?
I would like to speak
Sure. Want to step forward?
on it. Sure.
For the record, would you state your name?
Sure.
And spell your last name and also provide your address?
Sure. My name is Patricia Elswick. Last name spelled Elswick. My address is 12118 Price Road in Hebron. I myself have some concerns other than what has been presented. I'd like to read the letter that I wrote to you guys. Prior to this variance request, I had some concerns with the septic area that has been completely paved over. The septic plans on record contradict one another with both of the plans, both of those areas being paved over. The current septic area is at a higher elevation than the properties to the north of and the tank is covered. The tank cover is approximately 7 feet from the property line to the well at the property straight to the north. That property, the well is 12 feet from their property line. So you have less than 20 feet from well to septic cover. This already poses a problem if the septic is poorly maintained, with the entire property area being paved over. There's no area for future septic site. I did get records of how big the septic system is. It is fairly small, approximately 700 or less, and it is a block construction. It is not all contained. So one of the septic site records shows the septic plans being at the corner, the northwest corner of the building, and the septic field or seepage bed area being at the northwest corner at the downhill slope right at the corner of the sidewalk. The other plan shows that the seepage area is up to the southwest corner of the property, which is most likely paved over and may be covered in sidewalk as well at this point. So I'm not sure which plan is the most accurate. So that poses a concern with the proximity to the current well on the neighboring property. The slope of the land, it drains to the north. I'm curious what the current runoff rate is for this impervious surface. Will this rate increase because it's all being contained to those two gutters, and then will it flow faster down there? Is it going to be redirected so it does not flow downhill to the creek? Right now, what direction is this flow now? Is the subject property, it seems to be at the highest point in Alden, which is 1,005 feet. And the Alden Creek directly at the bottom of the hill is at the lowest point, which is 950 feet. This creek is part of the Fox River watershed. It flows directly through the Land Conservancy of McHenry County, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, and McHenry County Conservation Properties, all at that lowest point. All three of those agencies are down there at that lowest point where the creek is. Were these agencies also notified of this, or was it just the properties that are adjoining to this? What is the current environmental requirements for any fuel spills? Right now, the gas station is, I believe, just housing fuel tanks for gasoline. I don't know if they're going to increase that to house fuel tanks for diesel. Are there any different recommendations for the different types of fuel? What will adding the canopy increase the flow and potential spills into this creek? Right now, there's no retention area, no area on the property for retention area. If the flow is redirected and the runoff is redirected to the east, where the grass area is, that is where the subject property's well is located, and also another residence. It will most likely flood out their septic area, which is on the east side of that property. The vacant land on the northeast does contain the separate septic area for the east property. In your packet, it does say that there is vacant property there, but that vacant property does have the septic field for the neighboring property. It's not all vacant as the diagram indicates. There's no indication on how high the canopy will be or how the lighting will affect the neighboring residents as well. It's just my opinion and my recommendation that more research be conducted, especially with Stormwater Department, in regards to the environmental implications of the runoff from this property. This not only affects the immediate neighboring properties, but the entire residential and conservation areas to the north and the east.
I'm sorry, you indicated your address was,
Mine is 12118 Price Road
okay.
in Hebron.
I was going to say, I thought Price Road is primarily Hebron.
Yes.
So your concern is not that of an adjoining property owner, you're more concerned about the
I
environmental.
am concerned about the neighboring property owners just
I know,
because
but
of the
you don't
proximity.
live next door to the property, but
I do share interest in that property
can you explain that, please?
of the 9204 Alden Road. That is my parents' property, which,
Have they ever observed, your parents ever observed any flooding from the existing gas station onto their property?
yes. So a couple years ago, they did, it was almost like a chip seal or something to the parking lot where they covered it in like pea gravel after they sprayed oil on it. And all of that chip seal ran down the sidewalk, ran down the road. It clogged the storm drains on Alden Road. So it does flood over.
Okay, but that was not water per se, that was the sealant.
That was from when it rained, it washed all that down there.
Okay.
Not in recent years, but previous years, there's been septic flowing out of that septic tank cover and down the sidewalk. But we have not observed anything in recent years.
Kim, can you respond to your concern about stormwater? What will they do?
So again, I'm not, it's not my expertise on the stormwater management ordinance, but any proposed development does need to meet the requirements of the stormwater management ordinance. They do take a look at runoff. Again, my understanding is when it is going on top of existing impervious, there's typically not an impact the way that there would be if it was just going over grass or something like that, where it was previously pervious. But that would be something that I would have to consult more with our Water Resources Division to see if there's any impact that they would anticipate.
So the property previously was okayed for usage because the septic field was not paved over, but I could not find any records where it was allowed to be paved over.
Okay. We'll have to take a look at the historical records that we have and then consult with the health department as well. So
But
you were
technically,
saying,
that's not one of the issues before us today.
It could be if everything is redirected to flow that way, it could bring additional contaminants into the neighbors to the north. And then there are storm drains along the road that flow all the way down to be released in the creek. So I'm just wondering, like, what the rate of the runoff is and how, if there is a spill, how are they to manage that spill into the creek?
When you say spill, what are you referring to?
Like if there's a fuel spill or even
Okay,
septic.
But a canopy is not going to make any difference regarding a potential
No.
fuel spill. That issue is there anytime you have a gas station.
Yes, that issue is there.
We're primarily focused on the structure. That's the primary thing that we're focusing on today. What are your concerns about the structure?
The rate of the runoff, the redirecting. You can't tell from any of these pictures the slope of the land going to the north. It goes from 1,005 feet to 950 feet.
Okay, but you said that there are stormwater drains that direct the water on Alden Road to go to that creek already.
Yes,
So-
couple houses down, not immediately.
Okay. But it is contemplated that that would be the drainage for this particular area.
Yes. So
So why are you concerned that the water would still flow as it has been flowing forever?
it doesn't, it immediately goes to my parents' property the property right to the north. It goes down through their property, the sidewalk in front of their house, the road in front of their house, before it even goes into the storm drain further down the road.
The structure is going to capture a sizable amount of the water that lands on this property, and they will have the ability to direct it as indicated with the drain pipes. So I would think that that would be something that might benefit your parents' home to the north.
It may.
If you participate and encourage them to do it in a way that it doesn't go to the property to the north, but it goes into the, the road drainage system.
And that poses a potential concern for that creek and all those conservancy agencies at the bottom of the hill where the creek is located.
Anyone else have anything else that they wish to say?
Thank you.
Could you state your name, spell your last name, and your address, please?
My name is Philip Abraham, Abraham. Address is 9204 Alden Road.
And what do you have to say, Mr. Abraham?
Well, most canopies that I've seen at gas stations specifically go into some sort of holding area before they are exited out. If you notice them at a gas station, they go into the ground, into some storm retention or something like that, as opposed to across the top of the ground. They're stating that they want to do this for protection of the people that are pumping gas and whatnot during rain or snow or whatever. If it's raining, that water's still coming across the ground. They're going to get, depending on how much it's raining, you're going to get a lot of water rushing across the surface. As it stands now, the water runs south, it runs west, and it runs north after it gets out to the street and down to the sidewalk. At my property, there's a little embankment there that to the north that holds any water, and I hadn't built that. But in terms of all this water, the only green space that this property that they have is to the east. And then it would, if they run water that way, part of the water that way, it would dissipate into the green space. But if it's a great amount, it's still going to come back onto my property, because I'm only, the lot line, I gave them a variance way back when there were other owners. I gave them variance to zone it business as opposed to light industrial. And therefore, the variance is, their lot line is a foot something off of the back of their building. So my concern is how much direction are they going to put this water to?
Kim, do you have something that shows where his home would be?
Are you 2 lots to the north?
One,
One
He's
lot, okay, you're
He
directly.
did the variance and had been one to the north.
9204.
Yeah, so it would be this lot right there.
It's the brown roof house right there.
Okay.
And the lot line is, like I say, a foot off of that, back of that their building there, subject's building.
Are you currently having any water runoff from the gas station onto your property?
Currently, are they adding any?
No. I mean, are you, in the last number of years, have you experienced any water coming off of the gas station property onto your property?
Oh, the whole back of the roof. there's a gutter there, but it, it just drops onto my property.
Okay. Other than the slope of that roof and the gutter that doesn't seem to work properly, are you getting any other runoff from the impervious surface of the gas station?
Right down the sidewalk. It comes right there, before it hits Alden Road, a lot of it comes right down that sidewalk, which is not my sidewalk, it's the county's, but we maintain the tree bank.
You anticipated my question. The sidewalk and the property technically is not yours. You've got that orange line that I'm seeing, is that correct? It kind of goes through the tree?
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously been a good neighbor in the past when you agreed to the variance. You do understand that this has been there an awfully long time, long before our zoning ordinances were ever in effect.
Right, I understand that.
How long have you lived there?
38 years.
That's a sizable length of time.
Maybe even longer. I don't remember. How old were you when we moved in, Trish?
It was 86. 86 you purchased the property.
86, okay.
Um,
And another question I have is, how much more lighting are they gonna put in there?
I guess I've been waiting for that to rise. Can you,
Yeah.
both of you?
May I say something?
separately? Go ahead.
Okay. I want to say just one thing about that water. When we put the canopy on, it would be not anything other than what it is now. Because what it is now, the water falls on the lot and runs wherever the slope is. When we put the canopy, it would be the same amount of water would be coming down the what is it called?
Great.
Downspouts?
Downspouts, and would be on the lot and run the same way to the same direction as it is now. It won't change anything.
I disagree. The water coming out of a downspout will have greater velocity than
Okay.
simply what comes off of a structure. He's concerned about the lighting. Can we address the lighting?
Yeah, lighting, I think can say better. whatever.
Well, there's a lot of things we can do with lighting. We can use deflectors to keep them directly down, basically shadow the canopy and not pollute neighboring properties. We can adjust the color, the brightness. It depends on what's allowed is what, I mean, there's a lot of play there. We can put
Yeah.
16 lights, we can put 4 lights, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know how to answer that, for
The
sure.
Unified Development Ordinance does have regulations for exterior lighting. Any new installations of exterior lighting needs to be downward facing and fully shielded, and would not be permitted to be viewable through a neighboring residential window. So we do make sure that that meets all of those codes when we approve the plans as well.
So you can guarantee that it's not going to affect your property?
I mean, guarantee that it's going to meet the ordinance requirement,
Okay.
yes, for the
And
type
how
of
is he
lighting.
Okay, how is he protected if he's got concerns that this lighting will affect him?
I mean, definitely if you notice anything that's been, repositioned or anything that is shining through your light, you can contact our department once the permit is done. And our inspectors will come out and take a look and make sure that they are compliant. Unfortunately, if they are compliant with the ordinance and it's still, an irritant to you, it is a civil matter between neighbors.
Would you be willing to work with the neighbor to try to
Yes,
make
of
sure
course.
that you don't have any issues?
Yes, sir. Yeah, canopy lights, as I think that the building will be blocking that light on the back side of the building. So it
It's
would
not
be
at
just
20 feet.
In the front.
Yeah, what is the height of the building, the peak, if you know?
Don't know it, but definitely I can tell that it's higher than the canopies normally are.
And the canopy is gonna stretch to where on your new proposal?
It is,
It basically stretches to the edge of the building, to the
To the west.
west, yes.
So from
It
the
doesn't-
west
it does not.
back, you're putting canopy in. You're adding another pump to the east.
It would be to the east. Well, in that diagram, the center one moves closer towards the west to make room for a third to the east. I believe it's about 10, 12 feet actually that we need to get the 3 in versus the 2 that are there now, which are spread out quite a bit.
I just don't see how you're gonna get a third pump and a canopy in that square footage and still get people in and out of that station. The gas trucks that deliver, which happens once every 2 months, a gas drop will be there, but it won't be, I don't know how much they're putting in, but they have to come in the middle of the night because there's no way they can get off of Alden Road, and then they have to back in off of Alden Road. The entrance off of 173, they can't make that swing. I watched them get hung up on snowbanks in the middle of winter, and there they sit blocking the street for days. And this is before he's owned this place. It's just such a tight corner that there will be problems. And I'm just letting you know that it's probably gonna happen. I mean, there's not a lot of room there.
Again, technically, we're really here on the single issue of the canopy.
The canopy, correct.
So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a big canopy for a small area.
do you have anything else that you wish to add?
I do not at this time, thank you.
Anyone else have anything? Mr. Singh, there are some standards that have to be addressed. I'm going to tender you a copy,
okay,
and we're going to go through those. You may have addressed them in your petition.
okay.
The first standard is that the particular surrounding shape or topographical condition of the specific property involved would result in a particular hardship upon the owner as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the strict letter of the regulations were carried out. Now, Mr. Singh, you don't know how old this building is, do you?
No, sir, not at this
And
time.
It's possible that this building was put in place before the current zoning rules were in effect. Is that correct?
I don't know when it was put on.
Hey, Kim, is that correct?
From my understanding.
And the hardship to you, if this is denied, would be that it would be inconvenient for your customers. They would be subject to the elements, and you would be conceivably the only gas station in McHenry County that didn't have such a covering structure. Is that correct?
Yes,
Number 2, the conditions upon which the application for variation are based are unique to the property for which the variation is sought and are not generally applicable to other property within the same zoning area or zoning district. And again, the smallness of this property, the age of this property make this somewhat unique. Would you agree or disagree? most gas stations larger in size in terms of property than what you have?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree
And
to it.
the smallness of the lot,
Yeah.
what problems does that cause compared to what you typically have in a larger gas station property?
Yes.
And number 3, the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to increase the monetary gain realized from the property. Can you address that, please? Why are you doing this?
Variation is not based upon increase in monetary gain realized from the property. That is not just because the reason written here. Thing is that otherwise there won't be a gas station. So because after the mandate hit, if I
You're talking about the pumps. It's a different issue. I'm focusing, okay.
okay,
This is going to cost you money to do this project, correct?
yes,
And you're not really doing this so you can make more money, you're doing this so you can have a better product and a better gas station, is
yeah,
that correct?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing.
And number 4, the alleged difficulty or hardship is caused by the ordinance. It has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property, meaning you. You were not the person that originally built this gas station, were you?
No,
And as mentioned by staff, the rules have been put in place after this gas station was originally created, or it appears that it was done before the current zoning rules. So you're not the one that decided to build this gas station at this point under
no,
these circumstances.
no.
And number 5 is a little bit trickier, but the granting of the variation will not be detrimental to public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located. Can you address that? Number 5.
Variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located.
We've heard your neighbors' concern about possible lighting issues. Are you willing to work with the county and staff and the neighbors to try to make sure that any new lighting will not adversely affect your neighbors?
Yes, sir. I will be completely willing to work with everybody.
And you'll follow the current zoning rules that are
Sure.
applicable, correct?
Yes.
And the water runoff, you understand you will be subject to the stormwater management rules, and you'll have to comply with those, correct?
Yes.
And those will try to ensure that there are no problems on neighboring properties with water runoff. You
Yes.
understand that? Number 6, the proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase the congestion of the public streets or increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values in the same neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
And
It will not.
your neighbor does have some concern about the gas trucks getting in or out. I told him that that may not be relevant to this, but apparently by this standard, it could be relevant. How are the gas trucks going to come in to replenish your supply?
Yeah, I did check with the driver when we were planning this, and the way he enters from the Route 173 and goes towards Alden Road, and he said that that would be okay. It does not change anything for him. It would be same like what he is doing now.
To the person who's doing the construction work, will the pillars, the new pillars for the structure, will they cause any impediment to the truck drivers?
No.
Can you explain that?
Well, first off, I'd be more concerned with the islands and the dispensers than the columns that'll be between them.
Can you explain that when you say islands? What do you mean?
The dispensing islands with the pumps on them, the dispensers are actually outside of the columns. I would be more concerned about that than the columns supporting the canopy themselves. Because this truck will have to make the turning radius around, in this case, the westernmost dispensing island.
Will those islands be removed with the new plan?
His existing islands, yes, and with the new one being placed in the same vicinity, same area with 3 dispensers versus 2.
There was a comment by the neighbor that, in his opinion, all of the gas stations have some kind of an underground system and don't have water running onto the surface. That's not been my experience. What's been your experience? I oftentimes see drains coming off of the
It
structures.
depends upon the municipality, county. If there is, if it's in a city with storm and sanitary sewer, it absolutely will get attached. If there's none available, I have seen larger countries type gas stations build a pond that this will run into.
Is there a storm system that this can tie into?
I don't know how to answer that.
The other side of my lot, to the north, is the only one that's close when they redid Alden Road.
Kim, do you have any information on that? That would be more storm water? Okay. And number 7, that the granting of the variation requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to other land or structure in the same zoning district. If there were another gas station somewhere in the area that was as old as yours and on a small lot like yours that was primarily 80+% impervious surface, if they were requesting a similar structure to be built, would you feel that they should be allowed to do that, or would you be opposed to that?
The one thing is that there isn't any, so.
But if there were, and they came forward and said, we want to do what Mr. Singh is doing, do you think they should be allowed to do that?
Yeah, I think they should, if the ordinance and everything works.
Do you believe that having a structure over the pumps is a good idea or a bad idea?
It's a very good idea, sir,
And why is that?
because these days, everybody wants that. Like I said before, nobody wants to, pump when it's raining or it's snowing. So they need the protection from the weather.
Kim, anything else that you wish to add?
Just that, obviously this is a request just for the setback in this issue. We do have the stormwater management ordinance in place that will be reviewed during the building permitting process. So I do believe that will catch anything that could be of a concern in that regard.
For the record, after consideration of everything that we have heard, I would be in favor of this request. I do think he has met the standards. It is an unusual situation in that it's an extremely old structure that potentially or probably predates our zoning ordinance. If this were to be contemplated as a new gas station, it would not be approved, but it has been there for a long time. And we're really focusing only on the concept of the structure. It's not increasing the amount of impervious surface. And I do believe that the stormwater will make sure that any runoff will be handled appropriately and not be a problem either to the environment or to any adjoining property owners. So with that, I would approve this. When would the next county board meeting?
May I say one thing, sir?
November 18th.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
May I say one more thing? Sure. There is another gas station just right in Hebron on the corner of 173 and 47 with no canopy, less square footage, and impervious all the way around.
And their most recent spill went into the sewer system and had to have major cleanup there.
Environmental cleanup.
We put that into the record, that would not change my opinion. This will go to the county board meeting. You have the right to be there. You are potentially going to be on the consent agenda. It is unlikely that they would ask any questions of you. It would either be approved or not approved. That would be it. Okay. Can you leave that paper that I gave you? Just leave it there.
Leave it here?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You guys are free to go.
Okay, sir, thank you.
That will bring us to Z25. 24. Just give me one.
Yeah, no worries.
For the record, this is petition Z2524. The applicant or applicants would be Edgar O.
Ariaga,
Very good. And
Georgina Ramirez Saldana.
very good. And the request is a variation within the E1V Estate District to allow for a setback of 40 feet from the required 50 feet from the north lot line for an existing accessory structure. And the subject property consists of 1.075 acres and is located at the southeast corner of the intersection of East Monticello Way and Three Oaks Road in Algonquin Township, State of Illinois. Common street address 7610 East Monticello Way, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Tax or PIN would be 1910-428-001, and it is currently designated as single-family residential on the current land use map. And to the north would be multifamily residential, and to the south and the west would be single-family residential. To the east would be vacant. It appears to be a parking lot. The current zoning is E1V, State District with a variation, and to the north and south would be the city of Crystal Lake. To the east would be the village of Cary. To the west would be E1, the state city of Crystal Lake, which is designated residential on the county land use map. And the improvements would be a one-story brick and frame residence, pool with concrete patio, concrete driveway and walkway according to the plat, and the accessory structure that is the subject of this application was added to the site subsequent to the plat of survey. There are no wetlands, no floodplain, no floods of record. There is a violation of 2024-00061, currently open for the construction of a pergola/gazebo without the proper permit. There is an after-the-fact permit that has been applied for, and a variation was granted the property under 02-32 to allow for a south side setback reduction for a previous addition to the residence. You've been sworn. Who's going to make a statement?
I'll be happy to make a statement for you.
Are you the owner of the property or the,
No, sir, I was a contractor hired by,
you're the one that did the building?
no, I did not. Make that very clear. Make that very, very clear. No, Edgar contacted me when he had a previous contractor actually start the process of building the pergola along with the fire pit. And there was a misunderstanding, I believe, from my understanding of going through the process with the health department, with the homeowner, of what the measurement was supposed to be from the Three Oaks Road to the back half of the pergola. And that's where I became involved here with Edgar and his wife to try and resolve the situation with the county and the health department. So we're just requesting the variance to be approved. There was obviously a mistake made with the measurements of the pergola to the road. Mr. Arriaga here has worked with the health department to also make sure that there wasn't any stormwater issues or anything of that nature to allow for this variance to be approved.
Edgar, how long have you owned the property?
A couple of years.
And have you talked to your neighbors at all about what you have done or what you want to have approved?
Yeah.
And what have they said?
Obviously the construction is already done and we have invited everybody to a couple of parties that will throw out and everybody loves what we did.
It looks like a beautiful piece of property that you have, and it looks like you've done some very nice work to it. When you did the pergola, were you aware that you needed a building permit?
I did, and the guy who was doing the construction, he sent someone to the county, and he was asking for permits about this, and that, and then somehow they came to the conclusion that it was not required.
And were there any other issues with the property ever in the past during the time Edgar owned it?
Not that I am aware of, other than I know that the fire pit was a concern with the health department. Has that been removed?
Yeah, actually what happened was the fire pit is still existing on the property. What the health department approved was 2 additional fingers to the septic system. So that project has already been completed.
Okay.
So Aaron Helmer, along with Blackwater, was hired and contracted to do the repairs on the fire pit that ended up laying on top of 2 of those fingers. So that project has already been completed. The restoration of that is actually, I believe, the landscape has been completed on
The
that.
landscape and grass is the last part.
So the
We're
permit
waiting for
has
the
been closed out on that as of right
Around the Saturday.
now.
Right, that was the only other violation I was aware of.
And that happened at the time of the build out with the previous contractor, unfortunately.
I'm not particularly, I should strike that. Why are we messing around with people's fire pits?
The health department went out for an inspection and I think noticed it was in that location.
And the problem was though, the health department, not, obviously working with McHenry County, I've been born and raised in this whole town my whole life. They were wrong with where the pits were, on top of it all. But in the end, he complied with everything that was required, so.
People should be allowed to have a fire.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And it's beautiful the way he built it. It's contained, it's gorgeous, it's not.
What do you do for a living, Edgar?
I own a couple of mechanic shops, all in McHenry and Lake County.
And Kim, the reason we're having this discussion, this problem, is because he's a corner lot. Would that be a correct statement?
Correct. On an interior lot, an accessory structure like this could be 10 feet off of the side lot line, so it is because it abuts a street.
And this is far enough away from the road that it's not going to cause any sightline problems.
I don't believe so. I was out there and especially with the tree line there, I did want to ask a question. Are those completely contained on your property? They're not in the right of way?
The trees you're
The
talking about?
trees.
The trees, I believe they're
On your
in the
side.
property, I believe 5 to 6 feet away from the line.
And you
Yeah.
have no intention of removing those?
Yeah,
I noticed
they
they
were
were-
planted there after the fact when Edgar purchased the property. Obviously, they were there
Okay.
prior to. I mean, if there is some kind of sightline issues or anything like that, Edgar, as he's been complying with this whole process, doing the best we can. There's some kind of issue, obviously, because I'm sure there's construction going on the road.
Yeah,
He
I
understands
saw the
that.
construction.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were doing any widening, if that was.
We don't know either, yeah.
And it basically, it's gonna end across the street from the tree line.
Okay.
So,
So it's more towards the east.
and if you look at the distance from the corner to where the end of those trees are, there's enough distance between there that even when traffic is slowing, except for right now with all the construction going on, which there needs more visibility, obviously, with those guys out there, but, because I drive that every day. I live in Cary, right down the street, and there's no, when you turn into the area to the Monticello Way, or if you're exiting onto Three Oaks, there's plenty of, sightline view with the exception of, to the left there, if you're going up Monticello, what direction is that? Three Oaks there, east. That next intersection that goes back through the Walmart is obviously an issue where, but this is a different intersection than that.
And that's why they're gonna put a light
Yeah, at that
in that
intersection.
intersection. And they're gonna widen
But if
the,
they widen Three Oaks, it's going to be more to the property to the north of you?
to the north.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that was a vacant field?
It is a vacant field. I know there is that trailer car place.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're expanding to the east. But they already cleared all the trees.
Trees.
And I mean, they went in like 30 feet into it, so.
Because I believe if they come on this side of Three Oaks, you've got the commercial
Yeah.
district right there, which they've already expanded Three
They've
Oaks
expanded,
5
yeah.
years ago, I believe. So, and then it kind of narrows just past his property line there, and then expands back open.
The piece of paper over there that Mr. Singh left, if you could, if we can hang on to that, I'm going to read those and ask you to kind of answer them. Number one, isn't it true that the particular surrounding shape or topographical condition of the specific property involved would result in a particular hardship upon the owner as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the strict letter of the regulations were carried out? Isn't that true?
Yes.
Good answer. And isn't it also true that the conditions upon which the application for variation are based are unique to the property for which the variation is sought and are not generally applicable to other property within the same zoning district? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And part of this is because you are a corner lot, you're not an interior lot, so the rules are a little bit different because you have two lot lines requirements that are more substantial than a typical property.
Yes.
Which, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
which the one going towards the north is not the same as my other three neighbors, as far as the setback.
And number three, isn't it true that the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively on a desire to increase the monetary gain realized from the property? Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yes.
You're just doing this because you want to have your property to be nicer and to be more usable, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it also true that the alleged difficulty or hardship is caused by the ordinance and has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property? Isn't that true?
Yes.
Is it also true that the granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And by injurious to the neighborhood, you're not going to impact any sight lines, you're not going to impact any airflow to any neighbors. You've got a good-sized lot, so really no issues in that regard.
Correct.
And isn't it true that the proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase congestion in the public streets? Or the next one, or increase the danger of fire, sir?
Correct.
Or endanger the public safety, or substantially diminish or impair property values in the adjacent neighborhood? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And isn't it true that the granting of the variation requested will not confer on the applicant, you, any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance of their land or structure in the same zoning district? Isn't that true?
Yes.
If you had a neighbor who had a very similar situation, do you think that his request should be granted, or would you oppose it?
Could you repeat that one more time?
I'll strike that. This is a very straightforward, simple request. Do you have anything else that you wish to add?
Nothing further.
Okay. And I would be in favor of this request. And we'd go to the county board, you said November 18th?
November 18th.
November 18th, and where would that be?
I'm sorry?
Where is the location for that?
It'll be in the county boardroom just down the hall here. You don't have to attend.
Sure.
Certainly can if you want to.
And you'll be notified immediately afterwards the next day as to what they did.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
the odds
Chair.
are they should approve it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Do you want
waiting.
us to stay here, or do you want to?
Yes, if you could.
Okay. Have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you.